Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something really interesting. Well, you guys already know by the title. I recently started watching Jujutsu Kaisen. Now this was something that I was actually very surprised about, and my initial thoughts were very different from what my current thoughts are now on the actual anime itself. So before I actually watched the anime, I didn't really want to join the bandwagon when everyone was just hyping it up, and so I just strayed away from it. I didn't pay it any attention, and yes, I might have come across a few memes or so regarding the anime, which is definitely very quick of course, given that at that time there was only 2 or 3 episodes. But eventually there was just so many memes that I felt that I had to actually join in as well and start watching the anime. Now, it's not that I didn't want to watch the anime because I thought I might not enjoy it or anything like that. No, that's not the case. It was already seeming like something that was going to go on my list anyway to watch. So yeah, sooner or later I was going to get to it anyway. But my initial thoughts prior to actually watching the anime itself was, I actually thought that it was based on something that was more in the olden times or in the ancient era of things. But when I actually did watch it, I was surprised to see that it was actually based very much so in the modern world, where they actually had a proper school or proper high schools for the students to go to. They had mobile phones. I mean, they were pretty much in the modern times, and if anything they might even be more modern than us right now as well. So yeah, definitely quite interesting, but they do have a very powerful concept, or very powerful let's see, what is it, a premise to the story, and that is something that I think a lot of anime actually doesn't have when they actually start off. For this one, it's less so a start on the theme itself, but the fact that the idea around the story itself is what makes it so good. What do I mean by that? Well, there is going to be a bit of spoilers, so if you're watching this video, be prepared for that. But basically, I'm around 7 episodes in. Right now I think there's about 13 or 14 episodes, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm right now just 7 episodes in. It is definitely very enjoyable. Every single episode is keeping me on the edge of my seat. And yeah, with that being said, the premise itself of the story is the fact that based off human emotions, or negative emotions that is, you could actually create these so-called well, let's just call them the spirits or ghosts that actually can want to harm humans, I guess, in that particular sense. We then also have this really strong one known as the Sukuna monster, where it was originally a human, and then we have all this whole thing where there's actually a group of somewhat proclaimed exorcists that could actually just deal with this particular problem, and they know how to fight in jujutsu, which is obviously just really interesting. But the fact that they actually had this whole concept of these so-called mysterious supernatural enigmas being brought about based off human emotions, what I kind of don't like is the fact that it's so similar to the story I was actually writing myself. So a bit of information about me. During my time in university, I was actually taking just a random unit, just one of my free units. I took novel writing, and this was back in 2018 as well. This was a long time ago, and one of the major assessments was for me to actually plan out my first novel, I guess, and come up with, I guess, a story in which by the time I do my final assessment, I'll have the first chapter already done. And for me, my original premise for that was kind of similar. It's not exactly the same, but it is similar in the sense of the whole concept behind human emotions actually creating these supernatural beings that could negatively affect the world. And that was kind of similar to what I was doing. I don't want to go into full detail because I'm still obviously still working on the story itself. I've just been procrastinating for so long, but during that time, obviously Jujutsu Kaisen wasn't even being mentioned because it might not have even existed during that time. It's obviously recent in 2020, but this was an idea I had myself back in 2018, so that was kind of a frustrating thing for me, but it makes it all the more amazing for the fact that this idea kind of validates my own creativity as well, for the fact that I was actually able to come up with something that was similar itself for my own story. So even though I'm not even that far into the story itself for Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm not too far into the anime, I already am liking this anime a lot, and I'm instantly already putting it in my top 20. I think that might be a bit early to put in, but I just feel like the future episodes are going to live up to how it is right now in the first 7 episodes. It is something that's just so fun, so amazing. I love all the characters, they're just really awesome, and I was just getting some really interesting vibes. I mean, when you see Satoru being introduced, I was actually also imagining a partial Kakashi Sensei in that sense as well, which made it all the more awesome. I mean, I'm really having trouble formulating sentences right now just because of how interesting this all is. I mean, there's just so much I want to say, and yeah, this is just a really awesome anime. The main character is also just really awesome as well. You would think that in the modern era of anime, this is something I kind of have to admit, a lot of the newer protagonists that actually come out seem kind of bland, they seem kind of generic, and it seems like it's been done before. In this particular scenario, the protagonist actually does feel very different in his own right, and that just makes it all the more awesome. We also get a lot of interesting side characters that are technically also main characters, and again, it also just creates this really awesome thing. We instantly have a goal to collect all of the fingers, and yeah, it's just a really nice flow, really nice progression throughout the story already. Yeah, it's just overall really fun, very awesome, and I can't wait to actually continue on and just catch up to the latest episode. But yeah, with that being said, this was definitely a really fun experience. I really just wanted to bring this to attention for all of you guys, so that you guys actually know that I finally started watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and yeah, I just absolutely love it. There's nothing wrong with it right now. I just have no complaints. I mean, it's so early on. I think it was around episode 5 or 6 where we were already introduced to a so-called group of villains that we might be going up against. It's just so interesting. It's just keeping me so focused on the main story itself, and I just can't wait for every episode that comes out. It's also not the case where in every single episode at the end, it's also not just a forced cliffhanger. They actually just all made sense. It flowed into the story itself, which just makes it all the more amazing in terms of the writing itself. Maybe I'm praising it too much, but definitely tell me what you guys think about Jujutsu Kaisen. Do you guys actually think that this anime is already really good itself? Do you think it will get better, or do you think that it is going to eventually start declining? For my small prediction, I do think that this will be a much shorter series. I don't see it being a long series, given that the main goal itself is to collect the fingers, and they've already collected 3 fingers so far, so to collect 17 more, it doesn't seem like it's going to take that long for them to get to it. Yes, once they catch the fingers, or once they actually collect all the fingers, there's no guarantee that the story would end just there. There might obviously be a second arc that follows on, and that's no surprise as well, but it's hard to imagine that this would be a very long-running series, which is okay. I mean, I don't mind it being short. I mean, if it's something that is around the same length as maybe FMA, that would be quite amazing for the story itself. It would make it relatively long enough that we don't have to feel like we didn't get enough, but at the same time it's also not so long that we're gonna start complaining near the end part of it and it starts declining in quality. So yeah, this is overall just really amazing. But tell me your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and also share the video as well. Don't forget to subscribe just to see more videos just like this. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. This is Enigma signing out.